Hi guys, Adrian Jones here, CEO at Tradeology, and great to be able to speak to you again. Today I want to give you a forecast for the week ahead. At the time of making this recording, it is Sunday evening, just before the Asian markets open. So the markets have not opened yet, but I'm going to be looking at Forex for the week ahead, gold, a bit of silver, and what's happening with the crypto markets. So let me do this. I'm going to start off then by sharing with you my screen. And what we see here on screen is a calendar. Of course, one can get these calendars from very many other places. I've just chosen this one. And I've highlighted the highest impact news events that are going to be taking place during the course of this week. And first thing we'll notice is on Monday at 9 a.m. US time, USD pair is affected in this instance, with the Fed Chair Powell speaking. And he's going to be testifying before Congress tomorrow. And the market's going to be taking note of that. I'll get back to that in just a moment. Then on Wednesday, that's on Monday and Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we're going to be looking at some news events that could affect the euro. We've got French flash services PMI, some German PMI figures coming out also. And later in the day, some USD related news with Fed Chair, again, Mr. Powell speaking there. So on Thursday, we can see that there's a few other meetings going to be taking place. The SMB Monetary Policy Assessment, the Bank of Canada Governor is going to be having a chat. And we've got the Bank of England Governor Bailey also making an announcement there, and that's on Thursday. And then on Friday, there's a Euro Summit, which goes on the entire day, which could have implications on the euro. So on each of these days, at each of these times, as usual, I'm pointing out please to not trade or refrain from entering any new trades at least half an hour before and half an hour after the release of any of these news events, as the market can behave with a lot of volatility during these times and can go in a direction that you might not anticipate, even analysts might not anticipate it might go. It's just the way it is. So it's safer to stay out if you're day trading during those times. So that's as far as the news is concerned, just to be aware of those. So what I'm going to do now is I want to just pause for a second and open up my accounts. All right, so I've opened up my pound USD daily chart here. And of course, the base currency being the pound, we're looking at how this would perform against the United States dollar. Now, there's a few things, as I mentioned a bit earlier, there is some announcements coming out during the course of this week, and there's a few things I'd like you to take into consideration, just generally, as to what's happening. We know, for example, that the certain stimulus packages, or a package has been sent through Senate and then Congress in the USA. So that is about $1.9 trillion worth of relief that's about to be extended to citizens in America. So liquidity will climb over the course of time once it is released. The second thing that we need to be aware of is that the Fed is looking at the interest rates and also the inflation rates in the US. Now, bond yields have been going up, which means that people prefer to invest. Investors are preferring to invest in bond yields as opposed to traditional forms of investment in the market. So the bond yields are expected to continue increasing or at least stabilize for the rest of the week. The Fed would normally make an announcement as to whether or not it's going to increase interest rates. And it hasn't yet done so. It wants to allow, it looks like, inflation to continue to rise and won't be capping any interest rates at the moment or changing anything just yet, which is kind of unusual. But what it means for the dollar is that we might well see the dollar progressively get stronger throughout the week, bar any unforeseen circumstances. We know that news can change and someone makes a tweet and things can change quite quickly, but there is expectation that the dollar will strengthen during the course of this week. Now, that would be against most of the major pairs. The pound has found a lot of support recently by way of the vaccination program that has taken place and talk of easing of restrictions, lockdown restrictions, as they get through that program. And of course, over the last week or so, when last I submitted the last analysis, I had set out a channel essentially during which time we would see that price would go between or up and down between these two channel lines. And it indeed did do that. It went back up last week towards this line here at around the 1.4 level, and then retreated again. And on Friday, when it closed, it was around the 1.38 level. I do expect it to go back up towards this resistance level here, 1.40. 1.40000, in fact, would be the resistance level there. So should it break through that level and candle open above that on the daily chart again during the course of the week, then we could see it heading higher. Now, I don't anticipate that it would go any higher. I think it's going to find resistance at that point and then retrace again. Now, at its lowest, it could retrace to 1.37, and at its highest, I think it's going to get to just around the 1.4000 level. And once it gets there, it's going to find resistance, right? So it's going to be kind of range bound for the first day or two. It could well increase in value up to around that level. So overall, I'm bullish on it. But I don't think there's going to be any major swings in currency price during the course of this week. So if I was in the lower time frames, I'd be looking out for mainly bullish trades on the pound USD, but anticipating that they will be very few and far between, at least for the first few days. Secondly, then, we've got the Euro USD daily pair, and you can see we've got a flag formation having formed here, essentially. There we can see it. Price had been ranging a couple of weeks ago between the two channels here. And then after that, did drop below that. Now, currently, I think the euro is under a lot of pressure. We do know that vaccine rollout is not going well. There's a lot of talk about continued lockdowns going to take place in the euro area. And I'm overall bearish on the euro. I do foresee that that will eventually decline during the course of this week. And we could see it going down to around the 1.175 level. And at worst, down towards the 61.8 Fibonacci level. I'd set it from the high from a couple of years ago to the low, and these levels were then formed on the Fibonacci expansion tool. And that would be a major support area there. So I don't see that it will rise in price. In fact, indicators on Friday were still showing bearish, and I do foresee that it will continue its bearish trend. And on the lower time frames, I'll be looking out for especially buy trades during the course of this week. Now, the Australian dollar, similar flag formation here. It hit a high at around 0.78 here. And overall, I do see that the Aussie will in time strengthen against the US dollar. But for the first few days, I'm anticipating that while Fed Chair Powell testimony comes out, that it will be range bound here too, and could drop as low as 0.76 during the course of the next few days before retracing back up towards the 0.78 level. So overall, for the first part of the week, I'm going to be bearish on this and looking out for mainly bearish trades on the lower time frames, and then towards the latter part of the week, more bullish, expecting it to retrace back up towards this support level there. Now on gold, gold has been underperforming for quite a while now. It's been moving down slowly, and we can see that on this particular system that I've got here, my indicators are still showing bearish at the moment, range bound to bearish. And the reason for that again is the higher interest rates or bond yields coming out of the States, and I do anticipate that US dollar will increase in value. So gold for now is going to be coming under a bit of pressure. And you can see here around 1.780 level there will be the maximum it will go to. I'm actually foreseeing that 1.763 will be a resistance level there. And should it drop, I'm expecting it to drop to around the 1.7 1.00 level. And that's a fair possibility during the course of the first few days of this week. So I'm expecting it to go down for at least 2 or 3 days to around the 1.740 level. And I'll be looking to trade on the lower time frames, more bearish trades. And then from about Thursday onwards, it could retrace back to its current level, 1.1740, and even a bit higher towards the 1.76 level there. Right, so mainly bearish for a couple of days or 3 days, then bullish as it retraces back towards the latter part of the week. Now, silver, I'm not expecting either upwards or downwards movement. I think it's going to stay fairly range bound, and I'm not going to take any trades in silver during the course of this week. Right, so let's have a look and see how things are looking on the Bitcoin side of things. Now, as of today, it's still Sunday, price is down as far as Bitcoin is concerned. And we know that generally the other currencies do follow suit. The other Ethereums, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, you can see they're all down. XRP is slightly up on the day, but that could be just lagging for the moment. So if we look back over the last week or so, let's go back to a week, you can see that it hit a high around $60,746 a week ago. Now, currently, it's nearly $10,000 under that at the time of this recording. And it does seem under pressure. There's been no big swings like the last few weeks where we saw this kind of movement and then back up again. It's been kind of consistent. It's come down over the last few days from 59,700 down to the current level. And I do anticipate, though, that it will continue upwards, but it will find a ceiling just under $59,000 again, and then retrace back down towards 58. So it's going to be around that area, the current level to $59,000. And if it had to break through 59, then we could surely see it going up towards 60. However, I'm going to remain bullish on it, but I am anticipating that it will find resistance at the $59,000 level. And then if it retraces back down to 58, back down to 57, perhaps down to 56. So if it continues upwards and gets past the $58,000 level, I expect that it will continue towards the $60,000 level before it finds resistance. Right? So that's my basic quick overview of what's ahead in the markets this week as far as the pound USD, the euro USD, Australian dollar USD, silver, gold, and Bitcoin are concerned. Now, the rest of the cryptocurrencies will generally follow the direction of Bitcoin, as we know. Right, so happy trading for the week ahead, guys. Until next time I speak to you again, have a great day.